Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches. And this week, like every week, we have a great variety for you guys and girls. And if you're new here, every Saturday 9:30 a.m. new watches hit the website, and it's usually anywhere between 8 and 12, and maybe some weeks coming up to Christmas there may be more than 12 in the drop. But the variety is always from vintage to modern to affordable to expensive, in terms of price ranges, that is, of course. So there's definitely something for everyone. Now I want to start off by apologizing if there's background noise in this video. There is works going on in this building as we speak, and it has been going on for a little while now, and I've been trying to hold off doing this video for a quiet period, but it seems like there's not going to be a quiet period, so I'm just going to crack through, and I have to apologize in advance for any noise. Now this video goes live Saturday the 25th, and for those of you who keep track of these kind of things, Friday the 24th is Black Friday. We are doing a website-wide sale that started yesterday of the time of you watching this video. If you're watching it the day it goes out, 24th, and we're going to run it until the 27th. So Monday the 27th around midday, it will stop, and that will be the end, and all the prices will come back up. So do take advantage of it. Even the watches you see here today will have a very small discount applied on them that you can check out at the website kibblewatches.co.uk. And as I say, it's website wide. I believe there's 8 or 9 pages of watches, so there's really a lot to choose from. Some of the prices are going to be insane, so definitely make sure you snap them up whilst you can. And as I say, Monday afternoon the prices go back up, so utilize it whilst you can. And my plan is next week, so next drop, to announce the Christmas opening hours. I'm going to be working on that the week coming up, figuring out exactly when I'm going to be off from, and if I can squeeze in a Saturday open for appointments to squeeze in before Christmas. So keep an eye out for that announcement next Saturday. But before we dive into the watches, what's on wrist, I'm wearing my Studio Underdog Watermelon. This is mine and my wife's watch. And as I mentioned last time, it does have a special case back that was very kindly done by Richard over at Studio Underdog. And yeah, this watch means an awful lot to me and my wife, and it will never be for sale. So yeah, that's what's on wrist. Now let's crack on with what you are here to see, and that is the watches on the table. We're going to start with my favorite, and I'll be interested to hear down in the comments what's your favorite from this week's drop. But my favorite is this, and this is surprising. This is a gorgeous 90s Franck Muller in white gold with this gorgeous silver dial, which has developed this absolutely awesome patina. And as I say, white gold as well, so it's got a nice weight to it. The design, very 1920s, 30s Art Deco, very reminiscent of Patek, Omega, a lot of those brands, and I think it's incredible. So let's take a closer look at this. So starting this week off with this gorgeous Franck Muller Cintré 18 karat white gold Curvex chronometer with a incredible platinum rotor on the movement as well. Now, as I said in the intro, this is 18 karat white gold and features a silvered dial, which has developed this absolutely incredible patina. Now, the great thing about this Franck Muller is it's from the circa 1990s, which is very much the period, in my opinion, when Franck Muller was at its best. They were doing some incredible designs and incredible things, and this is exactly one of those designs, in my opinion, that really speaks to what Franck Muller was doing and should have continued doing, in my personal opinion. So this is 18 karat white gold. It features a gorgeous, underneath this this case back, by the way, which has the engravings, as you can see, in all the details. But inside here is an automatic Franck Muller caliber 2800, which features a platinum rotor. You'll see photos of that under the additional photos on points of mention. It's got a beautiful signed crown right there. And this watch, as I said in the intro, definitely gives 1920s, 30s Art Deco vibes of like early Pateks, early Omegas, that kind of thing. Vacheron even did a few like this, and it feels very much of that era, but blown up a bit in proportion for today's wrist sizes, which obviously we'll get onto shortly. But the reference to this one is 5850. As I said, circa 1990s. It doesn't come with any box or papers, unfortunately, but it does come with its original 18 karat white gold Franck Muller buckle right there as well. Now, we have kept the watch in the condition it was presented to us because, to be honest, I don't mind scratches. I've said it before, but if you want it polished, we can have that done for you. As mentioned under the points of mention, there is a very faint hairline scratch, which I'll be honest is almost impossible to photograph, and in person you can only see it if you proper try and catch the light, but there is a faint hairline scratch in the crystal, and as you can tell by the crystal, this isn't an off-the-shelf part, so it would have to go back to Franck Muller for for a new crystal if you so desire. But I'll be honest, book an appointment, come see it in person, and I suspect you'll say the exact same as me, which is it's nowhere near as bad in person as you think it'd be. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, it wears perfectly in my opinion. So what you're looking at right here is 31.5mm by 45mm lug to lug. So really well proportioned for a Cintré sort of tank style case. Only 11mm thick and 18mm at the lugs, so endless options. Got it paired on this nice watch gecko strap, which I think suits it perfectly and just looks really, really good. Goes with that Art Deco vibe. But go check out this one on the website today. From there, let's go over to a Glashütte original. This is the Panomatic Luna Grey 40mm. A really, really awesome watch with a moon phase. And if you've been to the office here for any appointments or anything, you'll know the white dial version is actually on our wall as a wrist shot. So to get the grey one in, really, really cool. Maybe one day we'll get that printed and switch and swap between the two, but you never know. So snap this one up. Let's take a closer look. Now for the gorgeous and quintessentially German watch, this is the Glashütte original Panomatic Luna moon phase with the grey dial in 40mm. As you can see, absolutely gorgeous. You have this offset dial and sub-seconds over towards the 9 o'clock side of the dial or the left side of the dial. A big date over there, as you can see, and the moon phase up in that top right hand corner. Really beautifully done and very iconic, in my opinion, of Glashütte. When I think of them, I think of this watch, Panomatic Luna, but maybe that's just my sort of relationship with this model with the white dial one we had, and I've had a few over the years, including a blue, and they're just incredible. Every single time, I wish I was in a position where I could add one to the personal collection, because I really, really love the design, the fit, the finish, and the price point. When you consider what you're getting, and you know, a lot of people say they're the baby Langenzones, right? And I can see that, but I do think they stand completely on their own merits, separate to Lange, and rightfully so. I won't bore you with a reference to this one. It's an incredibly long reference, but this one's from April 2016 with its box and paperwork, it has its original strap, which has faded. You can see that here, but I'll be honest, I kind of like how it's faded. It's given this sort of like vintage patina to it, which I really like, and I think it suits the watch nicely. I mean, looking at it there, it doesn't look out of place. It has its original deployment, which, by the way, if you want to adjust, you have to unscrew that screw right there and then adjust upwards and then or downwards and then put the screw back in, basically. There is a tool in the box that has the screw fitting for that part, and it also has the push pin for the case for the moon phase, so it comes with that as well. But as we flip it over, you're presented with a gorgeous exhibition case back. Again, what Glashütte just do so beautifully is movement finishing. There's not many brands that can do this at this price point, in my opinion. And that's an automatic Glashütte caliber 9002. As I say, 2016, box and papers, comes with everything, 40mm, really nice condition overall. I think the new owner will be very, very happy with this watch. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Again, like, I think this watch speaks for itself. I don't think I have to say too much more, to be honest. You get what I'm saying about the proportions and just how it looks on wrist. It looks far more expensive than it is in a refined and beautiful way, not in a flashy way where it's, you know, this bright gold watch and it's got all this going for it. It is refined and incredible. So 40mm by 47mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug. So endless options. If this strap doesn't do it for you, there are plenty of options. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to a modern Breitling Navitimer that's done very, very well at retail. This is the Breitling Navitimer Bo1 43mm ice blue, and this one comes with its bracelet and leather strap, so you get both options, which is always great. So let's take a closer look at this one. On to the Breitling Navitimer Bo1 ice blue dial. This is the 43mm reference, and it comes on its original bracelet, which is this gorgeous sort of Navitimer bracelet that we've all become accustomed to with Breitling. And it also comes with the Breitling black leather strap, which really suits the watch as well, so you get both options. Struggling to get a focus. There we go. So as you can see, the iconic Breitling wings applied logo, which is really nice that they've brought that back. You have that ice blue dial and the sort of grey tone inner rotating bezel, as you can see, with pops of red throughout, which I think just really complement the overall design. And the black subdials really add something different as well, as you'd expect. Nice time crown at 3 o'clock, pushers again as you'd expect, and brushed and polished surfaces which are just absolutely wonderful. I won't bore you with the reference, as always with Breitling, they're incredibly long references, and I do have to say the clasp on this is wonderful. Look at that big Breitling finishing right there. That side goes first and that side clips in, and it just looks wonderful. Exhibition caseback showing off the automatic Breitling caliber Bo1, which I have to admit is an attractive movement. I think they've done a very good job. It looks incredibly complex, you know, when you look at certain movements, you go, wow, there's loads going on in there. This is one of those movements. And this one's from September 2022. It comes with its box and paperwork, even has its bezel protector, spare links, etc., and swing tag. Something to keep in mind, these new Breitling boxes are tiny, they're portable, they have like the cushion that this sits in the box with, you open it up and it's a travel pouch. So I'm a big fan of these new Breitling boxes, especially as someone who sells watches. We have a lot of boxes and they take up a huge amount of space. So having these tiny little boxes is perfect. I wish more brands would do it. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist, as you can see. So whilst it's 43mm, it wears incredibly well. So don't be put off by the size thinking it's going to be too big. The same way a 42mm Speedmaster, for most people, sits really well on the wrist. So this is 43mm by 48.5mm lug to lug. So under that 50mm and really compact considering the case size. 13.5mm thick and 22mm on the lug, so there are endless options, but between the bracelet and the strap it comes with, I think you're going to be set. So go check this one out on the website today. Now, something I'm very excited for, we actually have two mid-size SE Masters in this drop. We have the more modern coaxial, still discontinued, automatic, and we have the older 36mm quartz with the wave dial, so really, really great options. But we're going to start with the coaxial. Sorry, picked up the wrong one. That's how much I'm looking from behind. I couldn't tell the difference. I should know better. But this is the black ceramic coaxial 36mm, now discontinued, but more modern reference. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to the Omega SE Master mid-size. This is the 36mm black coaxial ceramic. As you can see, you've got that ceramic bezel, ceramic black dial. No waves yet. This is before they moved on to the waves, bringing them back. So this is a nice in-between. If you want that glossy black finish, this is the one you want to get. Now, I won't bore you with the reference, super long reference as always with Omega, but you can see the applied logo there. The pops of red, it is wonderful. We actually have the full-size version of this in stock at the moment as well. So if you want to compare the two, now's a great time to book an appointment and see them both in the metal, if one of them hasn't sold by that point, of course. I've always said these are surprisingly comfortable, and wear bigger than the 36mm will lead you to believe. So again, if you do have that opportunity, try them on to see for yourself. Don't disregard it because of the size. Now it comes on its original bracelet, as you can see, with its nice sign clasp. As we open it up, nice SE Master display case back. Inside is an automatic Omega coaxial caliber 2500, and this watch is from circa 2010s. It does come with a box, booklets, swing tag, and its additional links. Unfortunately, no paperwork is present, but let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now, I don't think that looks out of place at all. I think it looks like a very compact and comfortable dive watch. So 36mm by 42.5mm lug to lug, only 12mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lug. So endless options for swapping this one out if you so desire. But yeah, go check it out on the website today. Now from there to the 36mm quartz mid-size wave dial, often nicknamed the Pierce Brosnan. Let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to the model often referred to as the Pierce Brosnan, and that's because he wore this in James Bond, the 36mm quartz model with the wave dial. A really gorgeous watch. And again, if you're into that mid-size diver but you want something with a bit more of a vintage appeal, I would totally go for this, because the black ceramic definitely gives off a more modern vibe because it's shinier, whereas all of this is much more matte. Even that aluminium bezel is far more matte in person than obviously ceramic would be. You've got this really gorgeous dial and handset, as you can see. It's just very, very nice. And again, price point is fantastic on these. Helium escape valve, sign screwed down crown, nice twisted lugs as you'd expect, and it comes on its original bracelet with its push button clasp, as you can see. Nice SE Master case back. And behind there is a quartz Omega caliber 1538, and the reference to this one is 2223.80.00, and it's from the circa 2000s, very early 2000s. Unfortunately, this one doesn't come with box or paperwork, but as you can see, it's in fantastic condition, ready to be worn and enjoyed. Not an awful lot more to say about these because the charm of these references, in my opinion, is the wrist presence. So let's cut to that and show it on wrist. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now this bracelet will fit a 7¼ inch wrist, so you have got some movement there if you've got a smaller wrist, of course, and if you've got a bigger wrist, we can probably source you some links, so just let me know. But this is 36mm by 42.5mm lug to lug, only 11mm on the thickness, and again 18mm on the lug, so endless options. This does look great on a leather strap, I won't lie, but the bracelet is very, very comfortable too. So go check this one out on the website today. So the last Chrono Tokyo we had was one of the first series grey Mystic dial, as it was called, and it sold out very, very quickly. It was very popular, there was a lot of demand, and we are lucky enough to have the first series Midnight Blue, also limited to 50 total in stock. So I'm very excited to show you guys this one. So let's take a closer look. Now onto the Chrono Tokyo. If you missed out on the Mystic Grey, now's your opportunity for the Midnight Blue. A limited production of only 50 pieces, part of the first series of Chrono Tokyo released in 2019, and this is the reference CT002. Really, really great watch. This one's 2019 with its box and paperwork, and we got it paired on this really nice bracelet, which actually I think suits the watch perfectly and gives it a completely different look than it does on the leather straps. And it comes with 2 blue leather straps, which also complement the watch beautifully as well. The condition is fantastic. This nice soft polished case, which has definitely made Chrono Tokyo famous, and a signed case back, as you can see, and inside is an automatic Miyota caliber 90S5, which is a 9000 grade, so the high grade Miyota movement. But the charm of this watch is definitely that dial with those rings around the outside. It just pops and glows and really, really draws you in. It's a gorgeous design, and I can see why Chrono Tokyo definitely took off with the release of this watch. The other thing to mention is it's 37mm. Obviously we'll talk about the full dimensions in a moment, but it is on the smaller side, which for the design works perfectly. And I think anyone who thinks 37mm is too small, I'd recommend booking an appointment, come see this for yourself, put it on your wrist. I think you'll be changed. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, I do think this bracelet really adds to it, but if you're not a fan, or the bracelet doesn't fit, because I believe it will only fit about a 7¼ inch wrist, then your options are the leather straps, which also suit the watch beautifully. So this is 37mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, 10.5mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options. But yeah, go check this beautiful watch out on the website today. Now from there to a 90s Cartier Panther Jumbo Steel and Gold 29.5mm in quartz. This is a really, really great reference. If you like the Santos but want a bit slimmer, a bit more refined, that's kind of what the Panther was. And it's just really, really nice. So let's take a closer look at that one. Now on to the Cartier Panther Jumbo in stainless steel and gold, as you can see, with that gorgeous gold bezel and the iconic screws in that bezel. The Panther is incredibly thin. It just sits so low on the wrist. You've also got your original cabochon on the crown there, as you'd expect. A nice sort of creamy Cartier dial right there, as you can see, with the exploding Roman numerals around the outside, which in my opinion is very famous Cartier. This one comes on its bracelet, as you can see, which has this really clever hidden clasp as we open it. It's pressure fit, so you just pull it apart. You can see right there, that's how it goes. Nice screw down case back with a quartz movement inside, and the reference to this one is 187957, and this one's circa 1990s. Has no box and paperwork, and they don't come up that often, to be honest. The Panther in general is a bit of a harder to find watch, and the Jumbo in this size with the steel and gold is also very, very hard to find. It's 29.5mm. Obviously we'll talk more about the dimensions in a second, but for a square case of this era and this design, you know, it is a dressier, sporty kind of collaborational piece by Cartier. That is quite large, and when you see it on wrist, it really, really works. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This will fit a 7¼ inch wrist, and you can see it just looks perfect. You know, for me in this kind of design, this is the kind of size I want. You know, I'd even go smaller as well. I don't mind the big Cartier Santoses, but I think they're just a bit too big on the wrist, to be honest. I think this more refined size is far, far nicer. So this is 29.5mm by 39.5mm lug to lug, only 6mm thick, which is incredibly thin. That's going to fit under any cuff and sit on the wrist like there's nothing even there. And it's 17mm at the lugs right there. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Tudor that isn't a black bay. This is the Tudor Glamour Date Automatic 36mm, a quintessential watch, and again priced incredibly well in my opinion for what you get. So let's take a closer look at this. Now on to the Tudor Glamour Date. I'm a big fan of this model. I think Tudor have done very, very well making a simple time only with a date model that isn't too closely resembled to a Datejust and also is still harping back to its own heritage and design. This one features a really nice silver dial with a date over at 3 o'clock, screw down crown at 3 o'clock as well, which is signed, a nice polished case with brushed and polished bracelet, this sort of 5-link bracelet, which I think works really, really well with the design. You have this hidden clasp, so you lift this up and pop it open. Very reminiscent of a sort of Jubilee bracelet in terms of that kind of hidden factor where the bracelet continues all the way through and there isn't this big bulky clasp. I think it works really well with the design. Sticker still on the case back, and inside there is the automatic Tudor caliber T601, which is an ETA base, so nice and easy for service intervals in the future. Reference to this one is 55000, and this one's from June 2023 with its box and papers and spare links. It's also 36mm, which is absolutely perfect on wrist. I think you don't really need to go bigger than this. Of course you can, but I would highly recommend giving this a try first, because I think you'll be surprised. A lot of people are moving back a little bit to smaller watches, and I'm seeing it more and more. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, 36mm is fantastic, and I'm a big fan of the stepped bezel on this one. They haven't gone smooth, they haven't gone fluted, they haven't gone anything too gimmicky. They've given this double step bezel, which I think just works really, really nicely with the design. So what you're looking at is 36mm by 43mm lug to lug, only 10mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. 20mm and 36 just helps with that wearability for those people that think 36 is too small. So definitely give it a try. Go check it out on the website today. Now on to my second favourite on the table. This is a gorgeous 1940s Cyma anti-magnetic stainless steel 36mm with the Valjoux 22, a gorgeous watch with an incredible dial. Let's take a closer look at this. Models like this that get me very excited for vintage, because this is absolutely gorgeous. What you're looking at right here is a 1940s Cyma anti-magnetic in 36mm with a full stainless steel case. Now the reason that's a point of mention is because most of the time in this era in the 40s, a lot of these were chrome, and what chrome means is it's a base plate with a chrome finish over the top, so they're not actually stainless steel. Whereas this is stainless steel, it just means it's a higher caliber and just better overall, right? So this is the reference 6039, and inside behind that simple spun case back, which is very, very nice, is a manually wound Taverness signed Valjoux 22, which is correct for this era, and the fact that this is a gorgeous Cyma. Valjoux 22, another movement with great history and heritage used across the board for so many brands, and it's always great when you get a watch with that movement in. It's also a very attractive looking movement, so if only this had an exhibition case back, but you can see movement shots under points of mention on the additional photos. This is an original glossy gilt dial. What that means is you've got a black gloss with gilting of the indices, the numerals, and the logo, and you've got the gold tone hands as well. Really, really nicely done. It's running absolutely beautifully, and it comes backed with our 12 months warranty, as you'd expect, which is obviously non-waterproof. It goes without saying. As you can see, I've paired it on this nice suede strap, which I think complements the dial and tones really, really well. But as always with straps, don't threat. If you don't like it, there's many options, right? So that's the last thing to worry about. But as I say, circa 1940s, this watch is 80 plus years old, which is just incredible. And the fact it still works and works beautifully is amazing. I mean, the chronograph just feels so nice and sharp, which is always great with these models. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, the 36mm vintage chronograph just wears so good. And to be honest, at the time, this would have been, you know, a pretty large watch. It wouldn't have been like a huge watch, but it would have definitely been on the larger side, a 36mm in the 40s, which is fascinating. So this is 36mm by 43mm lug to lug. 12.5mm thick and 18mm on the lug, so endless options for swapping this one out if you're not a fan of my perfect strap pairing, of course. But go check it out on the website today. Now from there to one of the more recent additions from Christopher Ward, this is the C65 Dune 38mm on a strap. Really love the colour scheme of this one. I think that's what's made it a great success. So let's take a closer look at this. Now on to the Christopher Ward C65 Dune, and I've been waiting to get one of these in stock to check it out, and I have to say it doesn't disappoint. It's really, really amazing and a gorgeous piece. You can see that really nice off-white cream dial. I guess you'd call it a sand-coloured dial with a more prominent sand tone for the loom, which just works so well. Like, look at that, absolutely incredible. Applied logo, really nice matching strap, which is this canvas style, and by nice I mean the colour and the tone works really well. I have to admit, it's not the most comfortable of straps, and I think it's going to require some wearing in, but once you've got it worn in, I suspect it will be very, very comfortable. Signed clasp as well right there. Nice signed screw down crown, and as we flip it over, an exhibition case back with the Christopher Ward signed rotor, and that's an automatic Sellita SW200-1. This watch is from June 2023 with its box and paperwork. I'm ready to go and be enjoyed. It's got some wear, but nothing major at all. A couple of hairline scratches here and there. To be honest, as far as pre-owned watches go, this is very good condition. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, the 38mm proportions are perfect for this design. So 38mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, which is really compact on the wrist, 11.5mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lugs. So endless options, and as always, Christopher Ward have some fantastic strap options on their website as well. But of course, there's many other places, including WatchGecko, Strap Tailor, you know, wherever you want to get your straps from. But go check it out on the website today. From there over to a Tissot PRX. This is the 40mm automatic steel with the gold bezel. It's again been incredibly popular, the PRXs in general, but the steel with the gold bezel hasn't been as popular, so it means the price point of this, I mean, I'll just say it in video because I don't usually talk prices, but $375 for that, which is insane. That is such good value. So let's take a closer look at that one. Now on to a Tissot PRX Panomatic 80, which is the automatic model, the full size, which is the 40mm. And I won't bore you with the reference, super long reference as always, but what you need to know is it's the stainless steel with the gold bezel, the white and the gold on the dial, which is absolutely gorgeous. Dated 3 o'clock, signed crown at 3 o'clock, really nice finishing throughout. This is like new, to be honest. I don't think it's ever really been worn. And you've got the finishing on the bracelet as you'd expect from Tissot. As we open it up, exhibition case back showcasing the automatic Powermatic 80, which features 80 hours of power reserve, which is a very, very good feat, especially at this price point. The fact they managed to do that is incredible. Circa 2023 with its box and booklet, no original warranty card with this one. Tissot is switching from original warranty cards and moving exclusively over to digital warranties. It doesn't look like this one was ever registered with the digital warranty, so it will come with our 12 months warranty. Again, you've got to think it's just someone in the shop deciding not to fill it in on the online database. It happens, so that's why we're backing it with our warranty. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. You can see really well proportioned, exactly what you'd expect out of these PRXs if you've ever tried one on. If you haven't, I'd recommend either booking an appointment or going to wherever has Tissot. I'm sure there'll be some places near you, some jewelers that offer Tissot, and they will have these watches in stock as well, so you can try them on. This is 40mm by 44mm lug to lug, 11mm thick, and 27.5mm at the lug width, tapering down towards the clasp. So go check this one out on the website today. And last but by no means least, the most affordable on the table, potentially a great pickup for Christmas. This is a 2016 Hamilton Khaki King automatic 40mm, a great watch on a bracelet with its box and paper. So let's take a closer look. Now on to a Hamilton Khaki automatic day date 40mm on the bracelet. This is an older reference from November 2016, the reference H644550, which still features an automatic ETA inside as opposed to the new movements, which I believe are the Powermatic 80s or a derivative of. This isn't, this is the older ETAs. It does come very well worn, as you can see. We've not polished it. We can have it polished for you on request, but do keep in mind the cost of polishing isn't particularly cheap, and on a price watch at this price point, it will add a fair bit to it. So I would say, you know, buy this watch as a bit of a beater, something to wear and enjoy and not worry about, and it looks great on straps as well, so you can always take the bracelet off. It does feature a polished bezel, and the crystal is free of any scratches, which is always nice. Yeah, not an awful lot to say about this watch. If you've ever been a fan of Hamilton's, you've probably seen, maybe even owned this watch, because it's been very iconic in the lineup and it just ticks so many boxes for so many people. And when you're getting into watches, the 40mm I think is a sweet spot for most, because it's not a tiny watch, it's not a huge watch, it's nice and in between. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, on my 7-inch wrist, this will fit a 6.9-inch wrist. I've fastened it on my 7-inch wrist, but it's a bit tight. So do keep that in mind. It unfortunately has no spare links. This is 40mm by 49.5mm lug to lug, 11mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug. So endless options for swapping this one out, but go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's watches, 12 incredible watches on the website, something for everyone. And as I said at the start of the video, it is the Black Friday weekend. If you're watching this on the Black Friday weekend, of course, so head on over to the website, check out the deals. Of course, with these pieces, the deals aren't going to be too crazy because we're already priced very well, as always, with Kibble watches, and they've only just hit the website. So it'll be a very small discount on there, but you can utilize it nonetheless. Pay via debit, credit card, or PayPal via the website. And of course, we always take bank transfer as well. Just send us an email if you want to do that. But yeah, head on over, check these out, and I'll see you all again next week.